but Kessler was driving for the line. He knew he'd broken the world record.
Hobbs Kessler walked onto the track on January 24th, 2026 with something to prove, and before the night was over, he had shattered a 19-year-old world record and helped ignite one of the greatest evenings in indoor track history. The first moment of history came in the men's 2,000 meters. The man at the center of it was Hobbs Kessler. He was only 22 years old, but he carried a heavy emotional story into that race. Months earlier, he had been left off the 2025 World Championship team. For many athletes, that kind of disappointment lingers. It creates doubt. It slows momentum. For Kessler, it did the opposite. He called this race emotionally motivated. That matters. When a runner stands on the line with something personal driving him, the energy is different. Across from him stood Grant Fisher, one of the strongest distance runners in the world. Fisher is known for strength, rhythm, and toughness over longer distances. The pace from the start was honest. There was no waiting, no games. If the record was going to fall, it would fall because someone attacked it. The record they were chasing belonged to Kenenisa Bekele. In 2007, Bekele ran 4:49.99 indoors for 2,000 meters. That mark had survived 19 years. It survived generations of great runners. It survived faster tracks and improved spikes. It stood untouched. Many believed it might remain one of those forgotten records that never quite falls because the event is not run often enough at the highest level. But on this night, everything aligned. The early laps clicked by quickly but smoothly. The crowd could sense something building. Fisher held position and controlled large portions of the pace. Kessler stayed patient. He did not rush. He did not panic. He waited. With one lap to go, the tension inside the building grew heavy. Every stride mattered. Every step felt loud. Then came the final straight. Kessler moved. It was not a wild sprint. It was controlled and powerful. He surged past Fisher with confidence. His face showed effort, but not fear. He drove through the line and stopped the clock at 4:48.79. For a split second, there was silence as people processed the numbers. Then the realization hit. World record. Bekele's 19-year-old mark was gone. Fisher crossed just behind him in 4:49.48. That time was also under the old world record. On almost any other night in the last 19 years, Fisher would have walked away with history. Instead, he left with the second fastest indoor 2,000 meters ever run, 2 men under a record that had stood nearly 2 decades. That is not normal. That signals something bigger than one athlete having a great day. It signals a shift in standards. Kessler did not collapse in shock. He looked relieved, focused, as if something inside him had been settled. This was not only about time. It was about proving he belonged at the highest level after being left off a championship team. The message was clear without him needing to say much. But the night was not finished. Just 25 minutes later, the men's 800 meters lined up. If the crowd thought lightning could not strike twice, they were about to learn otherwise. The record in this event was even older. In 1997, Wilson Kipketer of Denmark ran 1:42.67 indoors. That record lasted 29 years. Think about that. Nearly 3 decades. It survived multiple generations of middle-distance stars. It survived faster shoes and faster tracks. It survived athletes who tried and failed to reach it. Josh Hoey stepped to the line with a plan. And that plan involved family. His older brother Jackson Hoey was serving as the pacemaker. That detail matters. Pacing at world record speed requires trust. It requires precision. You cannot miss the split by half a second. Too slow and the record slips away. Too fast and the runner collapses in the final stretch. The gun fired. Jackson took control immediately. The pace was sharp. The field stretched out behind him. At 400 meters, the clock flashed 50.02 seconds. That is flying. Later, Josh Hoey admitted he almost started laughing when he heard the split. Not because it was slow, because it was perfect. They had talked about the exact target. Jackson delivered it almost beyond perfect. When the pacemaker stepped aside, the real test began. The second lap of an indoor 800 meters is one of the hardest tasks in track and field. The turns are tight. The pace feels even faster because of the walls closing in. The body starts to burn. Hoey did not panic. He stayed smooth down the back stretch. He held his form. No wasted movement. No tightening shoulders. He committed fully on the final bend. The crowd rose again. They had just witnessed one world record. Now they sensed another. Hoey drove to the line and stopped the clock at 1:42.50, faster than Kipketer. The record that had stood since 1997 was gone. 2 world records, less than half an hour apart. The track world had never seen anything like it. What made this night different was not only the speed, it was the emotion and precision behind it. Kessler's run was fueled by personal fire. Being left off a world team can create doubt. Instead, it sharpened him. He attacked a rarely contested distance and made history. Fisher's performance cannot be overlooked. He also broke the old record. That shows depth in American distance running that few could have predicted years ago. Hoey's record was a masterclass in planning. The 50.02 opening lap was not reckless. It was calculated. The bond between brothers added another layer to the story. Few world records are paced by family members. That moment at 400 meters was not just a split. It was trust turned into speed. Wilson Kipketer's mark felt untouchable for years. Indoor 800 meters is a specialized event. The margins are thin. One small mistake can ruin everything. Hoey made none. Inside the track at New Balance, fans witnessed something that usually only happens in highlight reels or history books. The building itself played a role. Modern indoor facilities are designed for speed. The surface is responsive. The turns are engineered to maintain momentum. But even with perfect conditions, records do not fall unless athletes are willing to take risks. Both Kessler and Hoey took those risks. Kessler attacked the final straight instead of settling for a fast time. Hoey trusted a blazing first lap instead of playing it safe. This night also said something about American middle-distance running. For years, American athletes were competitive but rarely held multiple indoor world records in events traditionally dominated by East African and European stars. Now 2 Americans hold fresh global marks. Kessler is only 22. Hoey is still young and entering his prime. These are not aging veterans squeezing out one final performance. These are athletes with years ahead of them. That makes the future even more exciting. Can Kessler go faster outdoors? Can Fisher respond and reclaim dominance in a championship setting? Can Hoey push even deeper into the 142 range or challenge outdoor marks? Those questions now hang over the rest of the season.